Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Young and the Restless has seen some true love on Y&R, but also some really bad romances. Today, we're going to count down the worst pairings of 2025 on the CBS soap. We're going to talk about the 5 couples that fans really hated this year. We'll count down from number 5, which was bad, and work our way down to the number 1 worst romance of the year. Now, I know this is still in process, and it's probably going to drag into 2026, but it's bad. Fans have big issues with Daniel Romalotti and Tessa Porter as a couple for more than one reason. First, Tessa Porter is a married woman. She's hitched to Mariah Copeland, who is going through a mental health crisis right now. Second, many fans hate that Y&R is destroying the only gay couple on the CBS soap. A lot of viewers like Mariah Copeland and Tessa together. They've been steady for each other. They've been loyal and in love, even going down the road to adoption. Then they found out that baby Aria was diagnosed with deafness. They went through the process to help recover her hearing by getting cochlear implants done. Of course, this is a soap, and on Y&R couples always split up. Daniel Romalotti is still grieving Heather Stevens' death. He and Tessa have been on this friendship cycle, which then turned into a slow burn romance. But still, it's dodgy. Phyllis Summers is worried about Daniel getting his heart broken on Young and the Restless, and it's just messy. It also feels tone deaf. Honestly, Young and the Restless hasn't been a hotbed of juicy romances this year. Sharon Newman and Nick Newman were teased, but that hasn't manifested, which is frustrating. I will say, I think Daniel and Tessa are good for each other, but I prefer them as friends. Still, I suspect Daniel and Tessa may be getting a lot closer soon because Josh Griffith is, let's face it, a mediocre writer on his good days. The big question is whether Mariah will be put on the back burner and Tessa moves on without her, maybe getting a divorce. Or maybe Mariah gets her mental health act together, comes back, and fights for her marriage. But yeah, I think Daniel and Tessa are a very problematic couple. Y&R has taken 2 very complex and interesting characters, taken them each out of much hotter romances, and paired them in a relationship that is frankly boring and with zero drama. Chelsea Lawson, Melissa Claire Egan, and Adam Newman Mark Grossman talk about their kid Connor Newman Judah Mackey. They mostly just do what Victor Newman Eric Bredin tells them. That's what they do these days. Chelsea and Adam were interesting years ago when she was faking paralysis and framing him for a crime. Chelsea was interesting with Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, and Adam was on fire with passion for Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope. But he and Chelsea together? That's like watching paint dry on a good day. If the head writer was more creative, Josh Griffith could probably make something interesting out of Adam and Chelsea. I mentioned before the backstage rumor that Melissa Claire Egan is one of Josh Griffith's favorites and that she asked him to put Chelsea back with Adam. Now, whether that's true or not, the fact is Chelsea Lawson and Adam Newman are a snooze fest. I think as long as they're together, it's going to stay that way unless Y&R fires Josh Griffith and somebody else comes in and revs up the writing. So that's why they are on our worst romance list of the year. Let's be real. Nate Hastings' Sean Dominic was too good for Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver from the start. Yes, he used to be a cheater. Nate fooled around with Elena Dawson, Brittany Sarpy when she was with Devin Hamilton, Britton James. And then he cheated on her with Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinel. But Hunky Nate has done some self-reflection. He cleaned up his act, and I think he deserves better on Young and the Restless. Audra Charles is not better. Don't get me wrong, I like her as a character. She's complex, gorgeous, sexy, and a schemer. She's had to bootstrap her way through life. I like her character. Honestly, I'd like to see her with Adam. Audra was lying to Nate from day one. He doesn't even know her real last name, which is Cortez. Plus, she and Holden were doing some shady stuff in LA that's going to catch up with her soon. Nate is absolutely in the dark about Audra's past criminality. Then, present-day Audra cut that filthy deal with Victor Newman Eric Bredin and Kyle Abbott Michael Mealer for a cash investment in her company. Claire Grace Newman Haley Aaron was kind of right that if Audra had succeeded, that would be prostitution. That's the definition when you swap money for sex. whether it's with you or somebody else. Nate still doesn't know the extent of what Audra did with Kyle. Plus, Audra conspired with Victor to steal a company from Tucker MC called Trevor St. John, if you remember. Audra just doesn't seem to care who she hurts on her climb to the top. That's why she keeps falling back down. When she was with Nate, I really enjoyed the change we saw in Audra. The softer side. I liked her with Nate. I liked her bonding with Amy. But then Audra went right back to her old scheming, ruthless ways. She basically broke Nate's heart by plotting to seduce Kyle Abbott. I do think Audra actually loved Nate. It's just a bummer that Audra ruined everything. I'd like to see her with a schemer. Nate seems to be on a path to get back with Victoria. These two psychos were together in 2024, and it carried over into 2025 until Jordan Howard Colleen Zank kicked the bucket after Claire served her a cup of poison tea. Ian Ward Ray Wise is presumed dead, but we know he's not. Jordan and Ian seemed like a match made in hell. They were evil, vengeful, and psychotic. They wreaked havoc. They drugged Sharon Newman Sharon Case and drove her half insane. They murdered Heather. Obviously, it was bad that Jordan and Ian were partners in crime. But when Young and the Restless revealed they were bed buddies too, that really upped the ick factor. It's hard to imagine any woman willingly getting with psychotic Ian Ward. Thankfully, he and rotten Jordan Howard are done, but not so good as he's still alive. Our very worst couple of 2025 is Claire and Kyle. I don't think Claire and Kyle's romance was ever really healthy. Claire was innocent in matters of romance, but very skilled in revenge, lies, and treachery because that's how she was raised. She didn't know better. Meanwhile, Kyle was a spoiled brat who didn't connect with Claire in a meaningful way. This is the same reason that Kyle Abbott and Lola Rosales' Sasha Cale didn't work out back in the day. Kyle is a nepo baby born with a silver spoon in his mouth and coddled by his dad, Jack Abbott Peter Bergman. Plus, Kyle was Claire's first relationship, her first everything, so it didn't make sense for her to settle down with Kyle. Then he got really controlling when Claire was trying to take a step back. Kyle absolutely betrayed her with Audra. He cheated. Then he didn't listen or give her space when Claire asked for it. Instead, Kyle doubled down and proposed. Claire said recently she felt like Kyle was trying to control her, and she had enough of that from Jordan. At least Claire has realized she's not ready to settle down, which is what Kyle Abbott continues to push on her. Plus, he's been using his son Harrison to keep Claire close. I think it was sweet when she and Kyle first got together, but then it got more toxic when Kyle lied and was overstepping with Audra and tried to control Claire. I'm hoping they're done for good. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.